What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Erica Russo Show. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am beyond excited that the universe has led you here today. If you are an OG and you continue to come back, you continue to press play, what's up? Thanks for coming back. Thanks for your continued support. It really does mean so much to me to have you here every time a new episode drops. And if this podcast is helping you, if these trainings, these classes that I'm sharing through this podcast, these conversations are giving you those aha moments, that clarity, if it's giving you something to listen to on your way to work that you look forward to, I would be eternally grateful if you can head on over to iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. Those reviews allow this podcast to get to more ears. And now more than ever, I think that we can all agree that we need more conversations like these. Before you go ahead and click submit on that review, make sure you send a screenshot to me at Instagram at Erica W. Russo, and I would love to send you a free gift for supporting this podcast. Now that that is all said and done, I'm very, very excited to share this podcast episode, simply because I truly think that it is a game changer. Okay, so to give a little bit of a backstory, I've always believed in astrology. I always played in the kiddie pool with it, but I never really dove into it. Okay, I always had an app on my phone. I always really resonated with things. But for the longest time, I just really was very intimidated by the subject, to be completely honest. I think that a lot of us are because it's really intimidating. And last summer, to be completely honest, I remember going to like a book sale and I was walking around and I was always, obviously I go to the New Age spirituality section and I see this book that says the only astrology book you'll ever need. And I instantly knew that I needed to pick that up. So I went ahead and I picked up the book, didn't think anything of it. And, I got a ton of books for like 20 bucks. It's not the best feeling getting like OG books that you really can't even get at Barnes and Noble and you literally like spend 20 to $30. It is one of my favorite experiences in life, to be completely honest. But now, so I come home and it sits on my bookshelf for a couple months. And I remember one day I was like waiting for someone to come. So I was just, I literally had 5 minutes. So I took it off my bookshelf in my living room and I'm just scanning through it. And I'm like, I pop open to a page talking about Mercury. And I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. And I know that I'm going to need to know this, but not right now, right? So I think like 2 months pass and I get this download from the Light Council. For those of you who don't know, the Light Council is essentially a galactic council that I work with, and they said it's time for you to learn astrology. So I go, oh, that's why I needed that book. So I started to dive into the topic of astrology, and it was like really like an Alice in Wonderland situation going down the rabbit hole, and it was mind blowing. And I started to study the transits in my life and the big moments in my life and what was impacting that. And it was just like the evidence was like crazy. So I went ahead and I took a course and I got certified in astrology. And since having a good understanding of astrology and my own natal chart, I can honestly say it feels like I'm walking around with a cheat sheet to life. It feels like I just have like I feel like I have a cheat sheet. Like that's the best way to describe it. I know what's coming down the pipeline for me. I see the themes that are coming, and it's just been so beneficial. And I truly believe that just having a general understanding, you don't have to call yourself an astrologer by any means, but understanding your natal chart as well as the definitions or the archetypes of specific planets and transits are only going to help you from this day forward. Okay? Like it is just having a I'm not again, I'm not saying because it is a seriously complex system and one that you will continue to have to study for the rest of your life. But having a general understanding is only going to help you and those that you love see the ebbs and flows of life. And in today's episode, I am sharing with you my masterclass called Uncover Your Cosmic Blueprint. And this is really going to dive into the very general subject of natal charts as well as the zodiac signs. And it's going to be a longer episode. I'm just letting you know. I think that the class itself is like 80 minutes long, something around those, so you might have to come back to it. But this is quite literally a free class. I'm straight up being honest with you. Other astrologers probably could charge $49 to $99 for a class like this. So congratulations, you're getting it for free. But what I would do if I were you, I would definitely learn from this. I would definitely listen and write down things that are giving you insight and clarity because this is only going to help. Like it's only going to give you a better understanding. Now, before we dive in, I'm letting you know that I am a Western astrologer and I use the whole sign house system. Okay, so if you don't like the whole sign house system, don't listen. Okay, it's cool. There's many ways to get up the astrological mountain, so to speak. Find the system that works for you, but this is probably the most common and the one that is most well known. Okay, so enjoy this episode. Be sure to come hang out with me on Instagram at Erica W. Russo, and I will see you guys around the internet. Bye. Hello, hello, and welcome to Uncovering Your Cosmic Blueprint training. I'm so excited to dive into this training because I truly feel that everybody walking this earth should at least have a general understanding of their natal chart. And in this training, you are going to gain a lot of confidence. You're going to really start to understand the magic of astrology and how it plays out in your life and how it impacts you as a person, but also how it impacts you in life in general. So, what we are going to uncover is number one, what actually is a natal chart? Like, what actually is it? You're going to learn how to pull up your natal chart. We're going to dive into the 12 different houses and the 12 different zodiac signs. And we're going to talk about the planets. Okay. Now, there are so many different paths when it comes to climbing this mountain of astrology. The form of astrology that we're going to be using is Western astrology with the whole sign house system. I study Hellenistic astrology, which is a very ancient practice of astrology. There's many different there's many different avenues when it comes to this, but this is the one that we are going to be focusing in on, and it's most likely the one that is most common and popular. So, Western astrology is essentially, and the whole sign house system is what astrologers and what the horoscopes, your daily horoscopes that you listen to or you read in the news, this is usually the system that they are using. Okay. So, just to put it out there. Now, let's talk about what a natal chart actually is. A natal chart is a snapshot of the sky at a specific time, day, and location. This personalized map of the sky at this specific location and time
allows you to gain insight, clarity, understanding, as well as potential life paths and purposes. It's really quite remarkable. Now, this is more of like a personal astrology, but you can use astrology in natal charts for just about anything. You can pull up events, you can pull up, you can use it as a form of like if someone asks you a question at a certain time, you can pull up the actual astrology of that specific time and see exactly what the stars are saying. So this is a very powerful, powerful tool. But in this training, we are going to be diving into personal astrology. So, what exactly your natal chart reads, what exactly it means for you. Okay. Now, here's what I want you to remember when it comes down to anything, especially when it comes to astrology. These are the three key points that I want you to remember. Now, when it comes to astrology, we all most likely know our sun sign, okay, because it's essentially our birthday. But there's two other aspects of what create you as the avatar. Okay. It creates you as the character that you're playing in this life. And that is your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. Okay. So your sun sign is where the sun is at the time of your birth. The moon sign is where the moon is located in in the skies when you are born. And the rising sign, which is also known as the ascendant, is what sign is coming up upon the horizon. Okay. Your sun sign is very much your personality and how the world perceives you, where your moon sign is much more of your inner world, your emotions. We're going to get more into this when we go into the planets, but your rising sign is really who God, who the universe wants you to step into, the embodied version of yourself in this lifetime. Now, believe it or not, so here's the thing. You have all 12 zodiac signs within your chart, okay? The zodiac signs are fixed stars within the sky. They don't go anywhere. So essentially, what's happening is your natal chart is like a quick snapshot of what is going on astrologically, okay? And wherever these signs are, they're governing a certain aspect of your life. And again, we're going to go into that. We're going to go into the house system, but know that you have all 12 zodiac signs somewhere within your chart. Okay. Now, planets show what is happening. Signs show the vibe in which it is happening, and houses show where it is happening in your personal life. Okay. That's probably the simplest way that I can break it down for you. Okay. And again, we're going into all of that. So, first, we're going to dive into the zodiac signs. Okay. There are 12 zodiac signs, and they all have different characteristics. And all of these characteristics, again, are governing some sort of aspect in your existence at this time. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the organization of the signs because they are organized by element, quadruplicities, or qualities, the ruling planet, as well as its polarity. Okay. So let's talk about the elements. Now, there are four elements, and all 12 zodiac signs are governed by one of these elements. We have Earth, which is very grounded, very logical, very much like earthly. Okay. They're very much Earth signs are very practical. They are level-headed. They are smart. They are hardworking. Um, and they're really the ones that bring everybody else down in a good way, so to speak. I'm not saying like they're Debbie Downers. I'm saying that like they bring what we need when it comes down to making sure we have everything. Okay. We also have the air signs. Air signs are intelligence, it is our thoughts, it is our mind world. It is our connections to the cosmos. So air signs are another element. Now we have the fire signs. Fire signs are passionate and they are connected to action, very action oriented. And then we have water signs. These are emotions, these are our internal world. Now, on top of the elements, we also have the qualities of each and every zodiac sign. And the qualities are cardinal, fixed, or mutable. Okay. Now, the cardinal signs are the first signs that start or begin a season of the cycle of the annual cycle. Okay. So the cardinal signs are the initiators. They are the activators. They tend to be outgoing. They tend to be the ones that lead the pack. The fixed signs are known to be stubborn and they are fixed with opinions. They have a lot to say. And what something that we've kind of noticed when it comes to astrology is the cardinal signs, they activate, they will begin things, but they have a hard time following through. Where the fixed signs, they're not necessarily the activators or the beginners, but they are the ones that will follow through. Okay. The mutable signs are very flexible and adaptable, and they come at the end of each season. So now that we know that, we're going to go into each and every one of the 12 zodiac signs. So we're going to begin with the official start of the year, the zodiac year, I should say, and that is Aries. This season is from March 21st to April 20th, and the element is fire. The quality is cardinal. The polarity is Libra, and the ruling planet is Mars. Okay. Aries are the action takers. They are leaders. They are trailblazers. They're also impatient. I have an Aries in my life, and they're hardworking. They're driven. They're smart. They're courageous. They're brave, but they're also impatient and they can get frustrated very easily when they're not grounded. But we need Aries, okay? So again, the element is fire. So any fire sign is going to be very passionate. They're going to be intense in some aspects. The quality is cardinal. So again, because it's the initiator of the zodiac wheel, this is a cardinal sign. Now, the polarity of Aries is Libra. And this is very interesting because Aries, again, is like in your face, very fat, very forward moving, like very like, I gotta go, 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 go. Whereas balance is what Libra holds. Libra is kind of the peacekeeper. Libra is like, slow down, smell the roses. Let's balance this. Let's make a happy medium. And this is why they're polar, right? Because Aries just wants to go and Libra wants to like balance. Okay. Now, the ruling planet of Aries is Mars. Mars is the sign of action. It is also the planet of war. It's also the planet of forward movement. Okay. So this really coincides with the personality and the behaviors of an Aries. Okay. Now, when you think about Aries, I want you to think of these keywords: leader, trailblazer, and impatient. Okay. I'm sorry for laughing, but I remember that I was reading an article or something at one point on the internet, and there's this club in, I believe in New York City, and they banned one particular zodiac sign because they noticed that there was the fights that would break out and the brawls that would break out. They really noticed a pattern that that all of these fights and these instigations were started by someone who was born in Aries season. So they completely, if you're born in Aries season, when they check your ID, they don't allow you in. Oh my God. And when I tell you, my Aries, the Aries in my life is my brother-in-law, and I've known my brother-in-law since I was 18 years old, and he was like 17. And when I learned about that, when I read that article, I busted out laughing because if you knew the freaking problems he brought to us when we were, in our 20s and we would go to parties and clubs, it just made so much sense. He's older now, he's wiser, he's grown up, but he's still an Aries. So that's a little anecdote for Aries. So now let's talk about the sign of Taurus, okay? Taurus season begins April 21st and ends May 21st. This element is Earth. It is a fixed sign. The polarity is Scorpio. The ruling planet is Venus, okay? Taurus is a sign of stability. Taurus is a sign of loyalty. Taurus is also a sign of the finer things. Okay, Taurus people, they have taste. They don't mind. They have standards. They like nice things. They like the finer things in life and they're willing to work hard for it. They are willing to be patient when it comes to, you know, building what they desire. They're also very, very loyal and very, very helpful. Like these are the people that are just, they're always wanting to give a helping hand. They're very courteous. They're very genuine. They're very stable. Um, they're good I like they're good people. Like they're just good solid people. Some of the keywords. So this is an earth sign, okay? So you're going to notice that when we go through all of the 12 zodiac signs, it's like God created the zodiac sign, the zodiac wheel this particular way because each one of the signs kind of grows or enhances the sign before it. And I'll talk about that a little later because I want to go through all the signs first. But the element of Taurus is earth. So, again, very stable, very logical, very grounded. The quality is fixed. So, they are definitely known to be stubborn. They are definitely known to hold their ground when it comes to things. My oldest son is a Taurus sun, so I know Taurus very well. Now, the polarity of Taurus is Scorpio. And this is due to the fact that Taurus likes to Taurus likes balance because again the ruling planet is Venus, but it likes harmony. It likes aesthetics. It likes to really just be very grounded and feel at home. Taurus also is known to be homebodies. They really love the safety and security of a stable home. And the polarity of it is Scorpio because Scorpio is deeply passionate. Scorpio is deeply wanting to dive into the unknown and the depths of darkness. So they balance each other out in that way. Now, when you think of Taurus, I want you to think of these three keywords: reliable, progress, and finer things. All right. So now we're going to go into the sign of Gemini. This season begins on May 22nd and ends on June 21st. The element is air, the quality is mutable, the polarity is Sagittarius, and the ruling planet is Mercury. Okay, so Gemini is the twins. Gemini is an air sign, so it's very much all about intellect and communication and ideas and processing and talking and thinking of different viewpoints, talking about different viewpoints. Gemini wants to know all the things. Gemini is inquisitive. Gemini is genuinely curious. They want to know how other people think. They want to know how other people view the world. They want to see things from many different viewpoints. And this is because they have that twin energy. They want a lot. They want to understand everything because it's an air sign. They want to gather information and then they want to process it and see it from different perspectives. Okay. Now, the quality is mutable. Geminis definitely have their own opinions on things, but Gemini also um, can adapt. They can adapt pretty well. And they're also open to conversation. They're also open to seeing things from a different viewpoint. Okay. Now, the polarity of Gemini is Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is the gypsy soul. Sagittarius is the eternal student, the wanderer, where Gemini wants to process things. Gemini wants to sit there and gather as much information as possible and talk about it and communicate with it and write everything down and do pros and cons list, where Sagittarius just wants to go crazy. Sagittarius just wants to book a trip to Ibiza. Sagittarius just wants to experience things, where Gemini wants to process things. And that's why they're the polarities of each other, because you need both. You need to be able to let loose, but you also need to think. You also need to process before you go ahead and do some stuff. Now, the ruling planet of Gemini is Mercury, and Mercury is the mind planet. Mercury is how we process things. Mercury is about intellect. And that's why Gemini is Gemini, okay? It's very much of the mind. Now, when we think of Gemini, we want to think of communication, versatility, and intellect, okay? Now we're going to dive into Cancer. Cancer is from June 22nd to July 22nd. The element is water. The quality is cardinal. The polarity is Capricorn. And the ruling planet is the moon. Okay. So this is the first water element of the zodiac sign. And Cancer is very much a emotional, very, very depth, like very deep. They feel, Cancer feels like they just feel, and not just for themselves. They're highly empathic. So when someone's heart is breaking around them, their heart is breaking. These are the nurturers of the zodiac sign. These are the mothers. These are the ones, the caretakers, so to speak. And they're very much connected to their home, just like Taurus is, where they feel the safety and security of home. They like to be home. They like to be in their shell. The ruling planet is the moon. Now, the moon as well as the sun are not technically planets. They're luminaries. And the moon again is connected to our emotions. The moon is very much our internal world. It's what's going on behind the scenes. It's what's going on inside of us. So again, Cancer is a deeply emotional, deeply passionate sign. And it's the mother. It is the mother of the zodiac. Now, so the polarity of Cancer is Capricorn. Okay. So Capricorn definitely, I, I like this polarity because it definitely works where, you know, Cancers want to feel, Cancers want passion, Cancers want nurturing, and Capricorn doesn't. Capricorn wants stability, Capricorn wants honesty, Capricorn wants hard working and dedication. So these two signs are its polarity and they work together well. Okay. Now, the key words to Cancer is nurture, home and security, and feminine. All right, now we're going to talk about Leo. Okay, Leo season begins July 23rd and ends August 23rd. The element is fire, the quality is fixed, the polarity is Aquarius, and the ruling planet is the sun. Okay, Leos are another fire sign. So just like its fire counterpart Aries, they are known to be a bit passionate, but They are also known to be a little show-offy. They are the greatest showmen. They are brave. They are also natural leaders. They are the star of the show, so to speak. They kind of, because the ruling planet or the ruling luminary, I should say, is the sun, they kind of have that pizzazz to them. They kind of have that spark, that charisma, that kind of has the ability to light up a room when they walk into it. Now, they do have, they're very stubborn and sometimes they're a little too much, like they need to turn it down a little bit. But they're brave. Like Leos are definitely, again, they're the natural born leaders. All fire signs really have that because they're the initiators, right? The fire is what keeps it going. It keeps us warm. It keeps us safe. It keeps us, warm throughout the night. And all fire signs tend to have that quality. Now, the polarity, so this is the quality of Leo is a fixed sign. Okay. So we spoke about fixed signs being a bit stubborn, being a bit very much set in their own ways, and they have opinions. Okay. But again, cardinal signs are the initiators, but the fixed signs, they might be pains in the asses. Okay. They might be stubborn, but they get shit done. Okay. They are able to really withstand the trials and tribulations of things and walk the mountain. Whereas, like mutable signs and cardinal signs may not, I mean, everyone has the capability, but like fixed signs definitely are able to go the long haul. Now, the polarity of Leo is Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign. It is about intellect. It is about being humanitarian. It is for the people. Whereas Leo does have a tendency of being selfish. It's me, 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 me. Look at me, give me attention. Look how cool I am. Look how talented I am. Whereas Aquarius, they Aquarius is just kind of like not kind of like that. Okay. So they balance each other out in that sort of retrospect. Um, Again, the ruling planet is the sun. So that kind of gives that illumination. And it gives that illumination, it gives that vibe of like, you know, I shine, so to speak. Now, the key words to Leo is the showman, brave, and leader. All right, now we're diving into the sign of Virgo. Oh, Virgos. This season begins August 24th and ends on September 22nd. The element is earth, the quality is cardinal, the polarity is Pisces, the ruling planet is Mercury, just like its counterpart Gemini. And the keywords are analytical, organized, and intelligent. Okay. Virgo is a fascinating sign. I love Virgos. I have a lot of Virgos in my life. The element is earth, the quality is cardinal. Virgos are, do have a reputation of being the to-do list people, the analytical, very organized, very intelligent, but they're also pretty damn intuitive. Virgos are just they're just a rare breed. They're just, that's the only way I can explain it. They're a rare breed because they're hardworking and they're able to process things. They're very much, they do have a tendency because it's very fascinating because it is an earth sign technically, but because it's ruled by Mercury, the planet of the mind, they do have a tendency to have a vibe of that they are an air sign because they're very much in their mind. They need to figure things out. They need to fix it. They need to solve the problem. They need to be the one that gets to the end of things. So it's really a mixture of both earth and air. Like that's the way I look at Virgo, to be completely honest, because again, it is a grounded earth sign. They are very to the point. They're very honest, sometimes to a fault. They tell it like it is, but because it's ruled by Mercury, they have tendencies of being an air sign. Again, they can be in their heads. They can, very much overthink like air signs can. Um, what else do I want to say? Now, the quality is cardinal. So, again, they initiate things, they initiate projects. They are great organizers, they are great planners. Um, but they also have a tendency of burnout because they just go full force with things. But Virgo's a fascinating one. Now let's talk about Libra. Libra season begins on September 23rd and ends on October 23rd. The element is air, the quality is mutable, the polarity is Aries, the ruling planet is Venus. Libra is the scale. Libra is the balancer of the zodiac. Okay. It's an air sign, so it is about intellect. It does like to process things. It does like to listen to different points of view, but it's also about balance. It's also about harmony. It's also about beauty. It likes everything in the internal as well as external world to be balanced, okay? So Libras are very much they like aesthetic things. They like nice things because again, the ruling planet just like Taurus is Venus, which is all about beauty and love and harmony. Now, the quality is mutable. And it makes a lot of sense because, again, Libras are about balance. So they really try, these are the people that bring balance to situations. Okay. I have a great story about Libra moons. Okay. So I'm a Libra moon, and my brother in law is also my other brother in law, I should say, not the Aries. My other brother in law is a Libra moon. And I grew up with my brother in laws. Okay. So we have a lot of stories together, and we would go to parties in our mid 20s, and things would get a little rowdy. Okay. Because of the Aries brother in law. I'm joking. Sometimes it was because of him, but a lot of times it was because we were idiot kids and we would do stupid things. And we always ended up many times at these parties or at these events, and things would start happening, fights would break out and everything. And it was always me and my other brother-in-law, the other Libra moon, who would just kind of sit there and not freak out over things. We would just kind of figure out what was going on and balance out the situation. So if we had a girl that was like puking because she drank too many Mike's Hard Lemonades, we would go and we would fix it. Like we would balance it. If there were two people getting into a fist fight, we would be the ones trying to figure out the situation, pulling them back, trying to make everything harmonious. And it made so much sense when I finally got his birth information and I looked at his, chart, because I'm like, that makes total sense. Okay. Libras are the balancers. Libras are the ones that are going to fix problems. They are going to, you know, make everything copacetic. All right. But Libras, again, the ruling planet is Venus. They like nice things, okay? They like balance, they like harmony, they like beauty in all aspects, okay? Now, let's go ahead and we're going to dive into Scorpio. Oh, Scorpio. Oh, Scorpio. I have so much to say about Scorpio, and a lot of it I'm going to keep to myself because yes, I'm still processing Scorpio. Now, October 24th through November 22nd is Scorpio season. The element is water, The quality is fixed. The polarity is Taurus, and the ruling planet, oh, I'm sorry, the ruling planet is not Venus. I do believe it's Mars as well. Scorpio and Gemini have the worst reputations in all of the zodiac. Scorpios are deeply passionate. Scorpios are deeply, sometimes they can be intense. Scorpios have a tendency to be secretive. Um, and just so everybody knows, my husband is a Scorpio sun, and my youngest son, God bless him, is a Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, and Scorpio rising. So I know Scorpio. I know Scorpio very well. Okay. They love hard. They feel hard. They they are deeply passionate. And because Scorpio is often associated with like the darkness of humanity, it it has this tendency of being secretive. It has this tendency of kind of embracing the darkness. So people will oftentimes think that like Scorpios are hiding something from them. They'll think that, they can't be trustworthy. But the thing with Scorpios is because when they love something and when they love someone, they love it with every fiber of their being. They can be trusted. It's just you need to trust them, if that makes any sense. Now, it is a fixed sign, so Scorpios are known to be stubborn and set in their ways. The polarity is Taurus. So, we talked about Taurus before being liking nice things, being very balanced, I don't want to say surface level, but they like to talk about nice topics. They like to talk about the nicer things in life, where Scorpio is like, tell me your trauma. Tell me all the things that you hide underneath the bed and in your closet. They want to go deep. They want to feel. They want to understand you. So the polarity of Taurus and Scorpio makes a lot of sense. Now, when we talk about Scorpio, they are passion, they are intense, and they are secretive. Now, let's go into Sagittarius. Sagittarius is November 23rd through December 21st. The element is fire. The quality is mutable. The polarity is Gemini, and the ruling planet is Jupiter. Okay. Sagittarius I like to call them the gypsy souls of the zodiac. These are the ones that crave freedom, they crave expression, they crave travel, they want to experience things, they want to just learn about everything, they just want to learn about everything. They are really they're just really amazing individuals. Um they are they're definitely somewhat how do I process Sagittarius? And I have a lot of Sagittarius people around me. They're very dedicated to their own journey, if that makes sense. They're very dedicated to their own growth and their own experiences. So sometimes they can have a tendency of being flighty or feeling flighty as a friend. But it's only because like they crave so much freedom and they crave so much learning and growth and expansion for themselves that they kind of get blindsided and they just go for what they desire, if that makes any sense. Now, the quality is mutable. So again, it's very much a go with the flow. I will do whatever you want to do sort of energy. The polarity is Gemini. So again, Sagittarius. So Gemini is very much mind. Let's talk about it. Let's make spreadsheets about it. Let's do an ebook about it. Let's do this. Let's do that. And Sagittarius is like, no, let's go. let's go stamp our passport. Let's go experience this. Let's not think about it. So they balance each other in that sort of aspect. Now, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is a benefic planet. Okay. So benefic means positive, benefic means good. Jupiter is about luck, Jupiter is about expansion. So when you have a ruling planet that is very much positive, um, you tend to be a positive person. You tend to see things, the glass is half full, so to speak. Now that is Sagittarius. Now we're going to be talking about Capricorn. Capricorn season begins December 22nd and ends January 20th. The element is earth, the quality is cardinal, the polarity is Cancer, and the ruling planet is Saturn. Okay. Capricorn is the goat. Capricorn is tough. It is resilient. It is steadfast. It perseveres. It is a hard worker. It is loyal. Um, and it really has this ability to detach from emotions and see things for what they are. That's the earth sign. Okay. Now, the quality is cardinal. So, again, this is the initiator of, I guess technically winter season. So, it starts things, okay? It's definitely the pack leader when it comes to things. Um, but because it has this ability to bite off more than it can chew, it can find itself in burnout. Okay. Now, the ruling planet is Saturn. Saturn is the planet of restriction, of limitations, of lessons, of karma. So, if you've ever had someone with heavy Capricorn placements, sun or moon or rising, they're very dry. Like they are very to the point. They do not sugarcoat. They're honest. They can come off abrupt. They can come off blunt. Um, and it can leave a sting. Okay. And I'm saying this from personal experience. My father is a Capricorn moon. So it definitely, they're not afraid of telling the truth. Um, and sometimes that can be a good thing, and sometimes that's not a good thing. And sometimes it needs a little more like gentle, nurturing Cancer energy, which that's the polarity of Capricorn. But Capricorns are tough, man. Capricorns are just they get it. They have that earth sign, don't give a shit mentality, just kind of like its counterpart Virgo. Um, they're tough. Now, when we talk about Capricorn, you want to think of the keywords of hardworking, dry, but also strong. Now let's talk about Aquarius. Aquarius season begins January 21st and ends February 18th. The element is air, the quality is fixed, the polarity is Leo, the ruling planet is Saturn. Okay. Aquarius is the humanitarian. Aquarius is for the people. Aquarius has a reputation of being emotionally detached. Aquarius has a reputation of just very much kind of being out in space and just very detached. Now, I am an Aquarius sun, and I can tell you from my own personal experience, emotional detachment that is definitely something that I think Aquarius does have tendencies of, but that doesn't mean we don't feel. In fact, we feel very much. We very much feel because we have this underlying subconscious thing where we are here for the people. We want to help people. Like that is what we are here for, regardless of what we do. And when the people we feel it. We definitely feel it on like a cellular level, but we've kind of learned how to detach from emotions because, it's just, I don't know. We're air signs, okay? Now, we are also, the quality is fixed. So, yes, we are stubborn. Yes, we have our own opinions, but we don't give up. Aquarius is resilient. Aquarius figures it out. Our polarity is Leo. So again, when we spoke about Leo, we said that like Leo wants to be on stage, but Aquarius doesn't. And they kind of push and pull in that sort of retrospect. Our ruling planet is Saturn, just like Capricorn, which is about karma. It is about learning lessons, discipline, going, perseverance. And we're going to talk a little bit more about all of the planets once we get to that. But when we talk about Aquarius, we want to think humanitarian, we want to think independent, and we want to think free thinker. Now, last but not least, we need to talk about Pisces. Pisces season begins on February 19th and ends March 20th. The element is water, the quality is mutable, the polarity is Virgo, and the ruling planet is Jupiter. Okay. Pisces is the mystic. Pisces is the deeply empathic seer, the high priestess, very, very sensitive, very creative. Um, but oftentimes, Pisces has a tendency of going too deep into the emotional space. Okay. Now, the polarity of Pisces is Virgo. And we were talking about Virgo being an like very much an earth sign, but with air qualities, because again, they like to process things with the mind, where Pisces likes to process things with feeling and emotion. And sometimes that can, lead to a bit of problems, right? They can kind of go down a dark path. So the polarity is Virgo. So what that essentially means is when we're talking about polarity, it means that that other sign in the zodiac is what this sign is lacking. So Pisces really needs to make sure that they bring themselves into processing through the mind or through the body and not always through the emotions. Okay. It's highly intuitive. It's very, very connected to the moon, but the ruling planet is Jupiter, just like Saturn. So it does have a sense of abundance and luck to it. The quality is mutable. So again, that means that they will kind of go with the flow. They will try, they'll try to balance things out. Um, Pisces is a very interesting sign. Again, kind of like its counterpart Virgo. I find it very fascinating to learn about these two signs. Now we're going to talk about the planets, okay? So the signs are important, but the planets are more important, okay? Now, every planet is associated with a human characteristic or a physical manifestation. These associations are over 2,000 years old, okay? Where the planets were located at the time of your birth will signify themes in your life, important aspects of your experience, as well as your personality. Now, we're going to go through all of them so you can have a general understanding of what each and every planet means. So, we're going to start with the sun. And the sun is all about self expression. The sun is all about vitality. This is who you are. This is your personality. This is the way you kind of view the world. But it's also your pizzazz. It's also what you bring into this life. It's your vitality. It's who you play in this life. Now, the moon, just like we spoke about prior, this is all about emotions. This is our internal world. This is how we respond to things. This is our instincts, okay? This is how, when we have to really like, can we all just agree that like, yes, external things happen and our external world is just essentially a reaction of our internal world. So it's very important for us to really get to know our internal world. And that is the moon. Whatever our moon sign is what is our default when it comes to life. Okay. It's our internal processing system. So understanding the qualities of our moon sign definitely help us just understand who we are in this lifetime. Okay. So again, the moon is connected to emotions, how we respond to things, as well as instinct. Now, we have three personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Mercury is of the mind. This is communication. This is how we process things. Okay. So the way I think might not be the way you think. My initial reaction to things and how I respond to stimuli may not be how you respond to the same stimuli. Okay. This is Mercury. This is it's our processing system. So we really have to understand our Mercury at that level. Okay. Now let's go into Venus. Okay. Venus is a benefic planet, which means it's positive. And this is all about love and harmony and beauty and feeling and just more than enough energy. Venus is very much, it kind of like, I always say that like when Venus comes to town, because I'm talking about transits right now, when Venus transits, it kind of like just spreads a field of wildflowers wherever it goes. It really brings a sense of like, and just beauty and just grace and harmony. And this is also a personal planet. This is also associated with how we love and how we want to be loved. Now let's talk about Mars. Okay. Mars is actually considered a malefic planet, and malefic is essentially a bad planet. Okay. It brings negative impacts with it. But to be completely honest, I think even the most benefic planets aren't very also bring positive, and we're going to get into that. So Mars is the sign or the planet of physical energy. Okay, this is how we become activated. This is how we should be taking physical action. This is how we get angry, to be completely honest. This is how we process those heightened emotions of anger, of resentment, of rage. This is all about what pisses us off. Okay. So the three personal planets again are Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Mercury is how we think, Venus is how we love, Mars is how we get pissed, essentially. Okay. So now let's talk about Saturn. Saturn is all about stability. Saturn is all about restriction. Saturn is about limits. Saturn is about lessons. Saturn is about karma. I personally like to call Saturn the Bill Belichick of the universe. So Bill Belichick is obviously the old New England Patriots coach. And if you've ever watched film with him or, watched him in interviews, he's tough. He there's been times where he's kind of ripped into Tom Brady. Like he's tough. He's a disciplinarian. He wants to make you better. He wants to make you the best version of yourself. But with that, he brings limits. With that, he brings lessons. With that, he brings karma. And we have to really recognize that, a lot of people, we talk about the Saturn return, which usually happens, a couple years prior to 30 or around 30 years old. And Saturn, I love Saturn, to be completely honest, and I've learned so much about Saturn, and I can't wait to like teach a class on Saturn because it's fascinating and there's so much insight about it. But, Saturn's here to make you stronger. Saturn's here to make sure you're learning the lessons that you need to learn, but also implementing, also, working harder, being resilient, toughening up. Um, and it really will limit you to make sure that you have everything that you realize and you recognize everything that you already have. Saturn is also considered a malefic planet, go figure. But again, I really truly, from the bottom of my heart, Mars and Saturn, I think that they bring positive stuff as well, because when it comes to the human experience, it's about good and bad, and we have to recognize that. Now we're talking about Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of abundance, of luck, and of growth. Okay. This is a benefic planet, just like Venus. So when we talk about Jupiter, it's about luck. It's about expansion in every aspect. You're going to notice that wherever Jupiter is in your chart, it's kind of an expansion, like there's more abundance to it. And when Jupiter is crossing over someplace or transiting your chart, you're going to notice growth in that area of your life. Now let's talk about Uranus. Okay. Uranus is the planet of change, disruption, and shock. Okay. This is all about surprise. Uranus is the wild card. Okay. We don't necessarily know what's happening when it comes to Uranus, but when it does come to town, we know to expect the unexpected. Okay. This can be both positive and negative. Now, um, I'm trying to think of things that have happened in my life when Uranus came to town. There's been a couple. I'm going to have to do a podcast episode on Uranus because it's definitely something to talk about. All right, let's talk about Pluto, okay? Pluto is the planet of transformation, of change, of elimination. There is a series that talks about, there's a series that I believe is available on Amazon Prime, and it's called The Changing of the Gods. And really, this documentary just talks about the transits between Uranus and Pluto, and it's fascinating, and what was transpiring on our earth while they were in opposition, while they were squared. It's a fascinating documentary if that's something that you are interested in. So that's called The Changing of the Gods. I think it's available on Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure that's where I bought it, but it's definitely worth learning. Pluto again is about transformation. And the thing with Pluto is what we've noticed is wherever Pluto is, now, this is a slow moving planet. So when Pluto goes into another sign, it's there for like 18 years or so. Right now, it's currently in the sign of Aquarius. And that was a really big transit that I believe that happened November. It finally entered Aquarius November 15th or 14th, 2024. And it's going to be in the sign of Aquarius again for the people, the humanitarian, so to speak. And we're already seeing the effects of Pluto in Aquarius in our day-to-day lives. But Pluto, it being the sign of transformation, change, and elimination, it also enhances whatever aspects the zodiac sign that it's residing in. Okay. So it's definitely enhancing those qualities of Aquarius right now. Last but not least, we're going to talk about Neptune. Okay. Neptune is the planet connected to spirituality, delusion, but also unreality. Neptune is actually the farthest planet from Earth. And it's one that is, again, associated with both spirituality and our connection to God, our connection to source, our connection to our own souls, but it's also connected to delusion. It's also connected to, being very ungrounded and lack of connection to earth energy. So Neptune just entered Aries on March 30th of 2025, and this is also a slow-moving planet, and these slow-moving planets are the ones that make the biggest impact on humanity. Okay? So we have the personal planets, but it's the slow-moving planets like Neptune, Pluto, Uranus that we really want to track for like collective reasons because those are the ones that make the biggest impact collectively. So Neptune just entered Aries, and I'm very interested to see what the hell is going to happen with that. So, with that being said, we just spoke about the planets, but I wanted to point out other points and minor planets and other significations that you will see in your chart when we go ahead and pull it up. Um, just so you know, there are so many different asteroids, so many different points that can be found through AstroSeek. But these are the ones that I wanted to talk about just because I know these are also important specifically for your personal journey. Now we have Chiron. Chiron was discovered in 1977 and it's actually classified as a minor planet. This is the wounded healer. Chiron represents our emotional and physical wounds. I always say that Chiron is that wound that never seems to fully heal. These are recurring themes in our life. Now, Lilith is a sensitive point that represents the darker side of our nature, characteristics we know exist and need to be addressed, but prefer not to acknowledge. We also have this thing called the part of fortune, and the part of fortune represents your opportunities for spiritual integration. This can also quite literally mean the part of fortune. Like, this is where you're going to find luck. This is where you're going to find the most expansion, abundant life. So it points out how you experience joy, the joy that comes with union with the soul and the higher self. And then you have the North Node and the South Node. This is our key lessons and past karma in this life. Now, um, I'm gonna pull up a chart and I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna do like a quick read on a chart just so I can show you how to pull up your own chart and I'll show you all of the symbols and everything, so don't worry about it. So this is the house system that we're gonna work with, okay? This is the whole sign house system. When you pull up your chart, it's going to look like a circle, okay? It's going to look like this, just obviously not with all the words in it. And we're going to start, if you go to the left, you're going to see there's 12 pieces of the puzzle. Okay. Every piece of the puzzle represents a different aspect of your life. Okay. Now we're going to start with the first house. So I'm going to call them houses. Okay. Because every part, that's what we call them. We're going to begin with house one, which is self. This is your ascension. This is your ascending. This is your rising sign. So remember when I was telling you how you have your sun, your moon, and your rising sign, and your rising sign is really the character that you're really meant to embody in this lifetime? That's your first house. Okay. This is your body. This is first impressions. This is your attitude. This is your identity. This is your approach to life. Okay. So, as much as we are our sun sign, we are also wanting to embody our rising sign as well. Now, the second house is the house of financial possessions. This is money and possessions. This is work. This is daily routines. This is associated really with your physical world, like your physical possessions, as well as money specifically, your relationship with money, how you earn money, how you will earn money, and all of that stuff. Now, the third house is how we communicate with the world. The third house is about our mind, our communications. It also can indicate our siblings, social activities, interests, neighbors, early education. Sometimes older astrologers say that this can indicate our relationship with our grandparents. So, not so much our parents, but our grandparents. This is how we communicate. Now, the fourth house is our home and family. Okay. So this is the part of our life that is hidden from most of the world. Okay. This is not just about our home and family life. It's about our private life. It's about our foundations. It's about our mother, our children. It can also, indicate our mental health as well. It's everything that's kind of hidden from the world. Okay. Now, our fifth house is the house of good fortune. This house represents romance and love affairs, play, children. It also can exhibit pleasure and sex. This is, again, this is the house of good fortune. House six is, I don't think it's a bad house, but in Hellenistic astrology, they call it the house of bad fortune. But the sixth house governs our health, our daily routines, our fitness. It also governs our day-to-day life, our work habits, our organization, our sense of usefulness, and our service given to the world. The seventh house represents our closest relationships. This is marriage, this is contracts. It's not just about marriage, it's also about the people closest to us. It is about our business partners, it's about who we share resources with. This can be, our closest friends. It can, and again, this is definitely about marriage, but it's also about who we are very much connected to in this life. The eighth house is the house of death, inheritance, and other people's assets. This is a darker house. I'm fascinating with this house, to be completely honest, and it it can talk. It can reveal sex related issues, money things. It can, those taboo subjects, so to speak. This house is also, known for like death, rebirth, and transformation. So I've seen it indicate, not so much death of the individual, but like death of like our closest people. And the ninth house is the house of God. This is about travel, wisdom, philosophy, and higher education, religion, as well as spirituality. Now, if you can see, house 10 is the highest point of the natal chart. Okay. So this is what the public sees. This is our career, long-term goals. This is our reputation, how we are viewed in the public eye. The 11th house is the house of groups, friends, social awareness, humanitarianism, hopes and wishes for the future. And lastly, the 12th house is the house of the subconscious mind. This is about everything that's kind of hidden. This is about past lives. This is about endings. This is about healing, spirituality, karma, afterlife, things that are hidden. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to pull up astroseek.com. Forgive me, I need to somehow get this out of what am I doing? Hold on. Okay. Give me a second. I got to pull this down. Minimize. Okay. So now you see that we are at astroseek.com. Okay. Now, what you're going to want to do is you want to go down to free horoscopes, click birth chart, and I'm just going to make up a birth. Okay. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to put all your information down over here. I'm just going to make up a birth. Let's do September 9th, 1970 works. Let's say this person was born at 6:12 a.m. And I'm just going to put, I don't know, New Rochelle, New York. Okay. Now, what you want to do just to make sure you're getting the correct house system is you want to go down to extended settings and you can see house system. It's always going to default to Placidus, but what we want is whole sign, which you can see right here. Now, you're going to go ahead and calculate the chart. Okay. So this is what the natal chart is. Every chart looks different, but it's always going to be in the circle. Okay. So what we're going to look at is we're going to take a look over here. I always say, like, look over here because you're going to look at this. You're going to be like, what the hell am I looking at? Okay. This is going to show us really everything. So this looks like this is a Scorpio rising. Okay, so the first, or no, this is a Virgo. I'm sorry. So the first house is Virgo. Okay, this is a Virgo rising person. Now, I don't know if you guys can see my thing. This is a Virgo rising. So the second house is governed by Libra. The third house is Scorpio. The fourth house is Sagittarius. The fifth house, Capricorn. Sixth is Aquarius. Seventh is Pisces. Eighth is Aries. Ninth is Taurus. 10th is Gemini. 11th house is governed by Cancer. And the 12th house is governed by Leo. Okay. So this person, this person, as you can see, has a packed first house. Now, what we're going to see over here is this person has a south node in the first house. They have Mars in the first house. They have the sun in the first house. They have Mercury in the first house. And they also looks like they have Pluto in the first house. So when there are three or more planets inside a sign or a house, this is considered a stellium. Stelliums are not, they're not common, but that means that when you have three or more planets in a particular place, that energy of that zodiac sign is much more amplified. So I would say if you have three or more planets in a particular sign, you have to look at that sign because you have those vibes. Okay. Now, I'm going to just do a quick reading. Okay. Just to kind of give you a heads up. Now, again, this person has Virgo. Okay. So obviously they have a sun. So if you look over here to the right hand side of the screen, I hope that you guys can see me whirling around over here. All of these little doodles over here are all of the symbols for all of the planets, the sun, the moon, and all of that. Okay, so you can see that the sun is a circle with a dot in it. We can see that the sun is in the first house. Okay, Mercury looks like a little devil. We can see Mercury in the first house. Okay, let's see, you could see the Venus sign over here. Let's check where Venus is. Venus is quite literally at the second degree of Scorpio in the third house. Okay. So it's in Scorpio. It's quite literally right on the cusp, but it is in Scorpio. Now you're going to see Saturn over here. It looks like a five. Saturn is in Taurus. Okay, in the ninth house. You can see I spoke about Chiron before. You can see that's the symbol for Chiron. Chiron is in the eighth house. Okay. So you just kind of need to do a process of elimination. So you go through all of these things on the right hand side and you go, well, where's my Mars? Okay. That's what Mars looks like. And Mars is in the first house for this made up person. Okay. And then you go, okay, well, now I want to learn where Saturn was. Like, what is Saturn in my chart? Okay, so you look for Saturn and you go over here, you find it in your ninth house. Okay. Now, all of these, I'm going to leave some recommendations, some book recommendations, so you can go further into this. But this is how you're going to do it. And the best thing about AstroSeek, oh my God, why am I doing this? Is you can go down and they're going to give you a little bit of information on your chart. Okay. So again, the first house, the ascendant is Virgo. People with Virgo ascendant develops the best through spiritual analysis, discernment, and self-criticism. Application of knowledge must be appropriate and consider the benefits that it brings, blah, blah, blah. And then, the 10th house again is career. So, people with Gemini usually excel in professions that require good literacy and all of that. But again, once you the thing that I love about astrology, guys, is that I'm never going to stop studying it. Like this is a study that you can do until the day that you die, and you're going to continue to learn things. Just like the tarot. I swear to God, like you learn something new every single day with this stuff, and it's fascinating. So don't think that like when you go into this and you're trying to like understand your chart, don't freak out if you are not getting it at first. This is a lifelong freaking process. You can continue to come back to AstroSeek and figure stuff out. You can continue to do your own research on things. I will give you my personal favorite books on astrology, so you can have a better understanding. But again, so I told you guys that I was going to do a quick reading. So let me do this quick reading just to give you guys some depth. Um, all right. So anytime I see the sun in the first house, I often indicate like, okay, this person definitely has charisma. This person has a natural ability to light up a room, so to speak, because again, the sun illuminates wherever it is. Okay. Now, this person with Mercury in the first house and it being governed by Virgo, okay, again, which is ruled by Mercury, this person can talk in a good way. This person can probably really break things down very, very well because of that Virgo and Mercury, the ruling planet of it, together. So this person is probably an excellent teacher, an excellent trainer, an excellent writer. Like they have a way with words. Okay. So now let me go down. Um, I can see that Jupiter, you could see over here, the Jupiter kind of looks like a 24. Jupiter is in the third house. I would say that this person kind of has it set up. Like this person can probably be a public speaker, to be completely honest, with Virgo, in the sign of Virgo, Mercury in the sign of Virgo that it rules in the first house. And then we have the planet of abundance and luck in the third house of communication. So this person definitely has potential for public speaking without a doubt. Now, another thing that I'm seeing in this chart is what else am I seeing? Chiron. Um, I'm not trying to freak everybody out. But when I see Chiron in the eighth house, there have been many readings that I've done where when Chiron is in the eighth house, a person often has someone close to them pass away unexpectedly or not of old age. So I've had people lose siblings that had Chiron in the eighth house. I've had people who've lost parents with Chiron in the eighth house because again, eighth house is the house of death, transformation, and rebirth. So when Chiron is there, the wounded healer, there's lessons when it comes to death and inheritance and rebirth and transformation. So a lot of times that can manifest into losing someone that we love, and all of the lessons and all of the karma that brings. Okay. Now, Saturn in the ninth house, again, Saturn looks like the five. It's in the ninth house. The ninth house is all about travel, of higher education. I've seen Saturn in the ninth house kind of manifest into someone going above and beyond when it comes to higher education, like going and getting a PhD, going and getting many certifications. Because with the influence of Saturn there, they're very much dedicated to higher learning or travel. This can also kind of manifest into quite literally a world traveler, to be completely honest. I've seen people like literally, I mean, what is that called? Nomadic life. I've seen someone have Saturn in the ninth house and they live like a nomad life for 5 years. Um, Now you can see this X over here, the X in the circle. This is the part of fortune. Okay. So the part of fortune, again, is kind of where you're going to find the most joy in your life, where you're going to find the most expansion in your life. This is in the 10th house of public image and career. So again, if we're seeing Saturn in the ninth house of higher education, and then we're seeing the lot of fortune in the 10th house, this is probably someone who was a straight A student. They were, magna cum laude. They were dedicated. They probably went and got their PhD, and then they are, probably killing it in their career. This is a pretty cool chart, to be completely honest. But yeah, that's really kind of how I would go. That's just kind of what I'm seeing. I can go, obviously with like readings, I would go much deeper in depth, but this is kind of what I'm seeing. So again, this is how you pull up your chart. I'm going to give you guys again book recommendations if this is definitely something that you want to learn more about, but also I'm going to give you app recommendations so you can start, getting your daily horoscope and you can start tracking transits. Because when I tell you the biggest, some of the biggest game changers for me personally in my business and in my life was when I started to track certain transits because it just made so much sense. And if you're obviously, this class is going to be part of the healers bundle. And if you're part of the healers bundle, obviously you're going to get more classes where we're going to talk about Saturn and everything like that. But anyway, that is it. Check out the books, check out the other recommendations. But again, when you're looking at a chart, you're going to start with the first house, the second house, and just go all the way. Go slow, okay? Just take your time. This is a light, you're not going to get everything all at once. This takes time. You have the rest of your life to study astrology. And I promise you that it is one of the best investments of your time and your energy. Okay, guys? So thanks for coming. Thanks for being here and enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this training and I hope you enjoy all of the free resources. I'll talk to you later. Bye.